alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We'll be talking about the hostility between the federal government and the ECP over the issue of the EVMs. The Ministry of Science and Technology has shared some data with the ECP, but has also refused to share some data. So there is a lot of tension, there is hostility between the ECP and the federal government at this time. What will the situation pan out to be? How do we see things as in the next couple of weeks? We'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about, of course, the High Court's decision for there to be legislation on this issue, which is extremely important. All of the ramifications of the reform that hangs in the balance as far as the federal government is concerned. All of that today on Perspective. I have with me Muhammad Ibrahim Khan, who's an M&A with PTI. Thank you for being with us. Faisal Kareem Kundi, who's the Central Secretary Information, PPP. Thank you for joining us. And Dr. Afnanullah Khan, Senator PMLN. Ahmed Bilal Mehboob, President PILDAT. Thank you for joining us today. Ibrahim Saab, how do you see the situation as far as, unfortunately, it's not the first time that we've seen the government and, an institution of the government, I would have to say, that at loggerheads. There is considerable tension. There has been in among other bodies also. Why do you think it comes down to it? And why does the government not have that kind of relationship one would like with the Election Commission? Of course, the Election Commission has its own power, it has its own ambit within which it acts. Why, in your opinion?
I personally feel that, if you look at the background history, since the creation of Pakistan and the tenures wherever there were political governments.
Yeah.
Even the outcome of those elections were never accepted by the losing parties, and there has been this situation of distrust or mistrust, and because there is no proper legislation or proper rules and regulations for ensuring free and fair elections, and that's why I think there was some exchange of hard words between.
But there is, isn't there? There is an ambit, a very real ambit within which the Election Commission acts. They're empowered. They have a 5-year tenure.
I personally feel if everybody was to look at the ambit, then things would have been worked out well. But that's not the case. Everybody tries to go farther, a step ahead of his ambit and what is supposed to.
So you're saying that they're exceeding the power that they have?
I'm not just claiming one party or the other. I'm just saying this is kind of the intention or kind of the exercise which has been taking place even in the past, that the government side or even on the other side, they try to exceed their limits or their powers, then that's where the confrontation part comes in.
But the election, I want to go on and talk more about that. But of course, as far as the High Court is concerned, they've said that there should be legislation on it.
Absolutely.
Right, let me come back to you. Kundi Saab, do you agree? You think, this is not the first time, like I said, as far as institutions of the government are concerned, we've seen that there is invariably some tension. There doesn't seem to be the kind of relationship one would like between the government and its institutions, Election Commission being one of them. Why?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Few days back we have seen this standing committee meeting, and one of the senior ministers from government coming out and blaming Election Commission. The Election Commission is an institution. The EVM, electronic voting machine, and this type of bill was passed by this parliament. It went to the Election Commission, and it was discussed in the standing committee of Senate, where the federal minister, he had some reservation, but this is not the way to address the reservation, that you blaming one institution, that we have taken money from somebody and whatever statement.
Mouthpiece of the opposition, it's also been called.
Mouthpiece or whatever, he has type of abusing the Election Commission. This is not the way of the government to deal with it.
Okay.
The dealing thing is that he should have sit with them, the Election Commission. They have got reservation 37 points. government normally do this. If opposition has any reservation, government used to sit with opposition, government used to sit with the institution, and they should address their reservation. What reservation is this? But this is not the way that government saying that we have brought this and we have to do it as we want. And when somebody says that we can't do it like this, then you start blaming that organization. And it's also this, the Chief Election Commissioner is not appointee from the previous governments. It was appointed by the sitting government. The Secretary Election Commission is appointed also by the sitting government. So you can't blame that it is been appointed by the previous governments, and they are there.
What Ibrahim Saab I think is trying to indicate is that it's not acting within the purview of its ambit, ambit of its own, the ambit that it has, the powers that it has, it's perhaps exceeding its authority. That is what I think overall the situation as far as the government
I don't think so that the Election Commission is exceeding their authority. If they are exceeding their authority, you can come with in black and white that this is the rules of Election Commission. We have to follow this.
Dr. Afnan, do you agree? You think that there is, as far as the government is concerned, they seem to feel that perhaps there is an exceeding of authority as far as the Election Commission is concerned. Of course, we've seen the relationship between the government and the opposition. It's not exactly cordial. What do you think is behind this? I mean, also, in the background is, of course, the Lahore High Court, the Islamabad High Court saying that there will be need for legislation. Do you think that they will, perhaps the government will be able to get the legislation passed if they choose to do so? Dr. Afnan, can you hear me? Can you please unmute yourself? I think you're muted.
I have unmuted.
Now
I'm saying that. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
There's a consistent behavioral issue when it comes to PTI, and that behavioral issue is basically that whoever do not agree with them, they try to spin stories around them by saying that they are either corrupt or there's something wrong with them. And this has been the same theme ever since Imran Khan got on the container 5-7 years ago. I mean, whoever does not agree with PTI's stance or PTI's whatever PTI believes in is either unpatriotic or is somehow corrupt. And this is just an extension of that behavior that you see with regards to Election Commission. I mean, this is the Election Commissioner who has been appointed by the current government, and even his name was proposed by Imran Khan Saab. So, I mean, to basically point fingers at him and without any evidence. Okay, so if you have any evidence, the right way to do it is to go to the Judicial Council, Supreme Judicial Council, with that particular piece of evidence, and then try to create a case against.
You're saying that the way that the government has gone about it is not right. The way that they've chosen to come out against the Election Commission, the way that they've, of course, we've seen their ministers talk against the Election Commission is not the right way to go about it.
Yes, and I believe you can criticize the actions of Election Commission. There is nothing wrong with that, but to make a claim that they have taken money, or to make a claim that they are corrupt, or to make some these kind of claims, you need to produce some evidence to back those claims. I mean, you cannot, this is not like you're on a container and you're just saying whatever politically is correct for you. You're running a government. Election Commission is an independent organization that does not come under the executive of Pakistan. So you need to behave in a certain way. And I mean, I believe that I have personally criticized Election Commission at times, but I've only criticized that particular election or that particular constituency or the way things were done. But we have never gone on like saying that the whole organization should resign and everybody. I mean, they are somehow involved with the opposition. I mean, these are very. These are very bad remarks against a state institution. So, and I believe that whatever they're trying to achieve, this will create more problems for them. This is not going to produce any solutions.
Are you going to support legislation on the electronic voting machines as a party?
So I'm part of the parliamentary. I was part of the parliamentary standing committee in Senate, which was looking into the EVM and I-voting issue, and we agreed with the government on about like 23 points, where we said that okay, these 23 points are something that we are okay with, so we can basically work on it. But EVM and I-voting were something that we were not completely in agreement with the government. So what we told the government was that we can support you in implementing EVM as long as you do it gradually. And this is what the independent experts were saying as well. We said that you can start with the identification part, we will support you in the identification part, and then we can go on to the next phase, the EVM phase, the RTS phase, and so on and so forth. But the government was very inflexible. I mean, we were trying to go out of our way to create this consensus in the next election act, but the government was like they were adamant on the I-voting part and the EVM part. And I want to give you some stats. I was looking at a CNN poll recently, and 54% of Republicans they believe that there is evidence that Biden did not win the election. There is evidence for voter fraud in the last elections. 78% believe that Biden didn't win the election. So this is like, America has EVMs in many states. So even with those EVMs, and they also have I-voting in some states as well. So with EVM and I-voting, still there were problems in the last election. So to come up with an argument where you're saying that somehow this is a silver bullet to all our problems, it is not. It's going to create more problems than it is going to solve. So the way to go about it is to create, is extremely important, to create consensus, to get ECP on board, to listen to the independent experts, what they're saying, and then proceed. I mean, and this is exactly the way how we did it back in 2017 when we created a consensus on the Election Act 2017, and PTI was part of it, and People Party was part of it, and everybody was happy. And this is the way to go about it. I mean, if they don't do it like
okay,
this,
I will go to Ibrahim Saab with this. I'll just go to him in a little bit. I want to first go to Ahmed Bilal Mahmood. Ahmed Saab, you do agree? I mean, what do you think is behind this kind of, of course, the way that the government went about it? There is criticism on it. We've seen, across the board political parties talk about how the criticism itself could have been leveled in a better, more dignified manner. Could have been, the issues that they have as far as they had with the Election Commission could have been addressed, could have been, even brought about in a better manner. All of those things withstanding, do you think that how do you think the situation will it resolve with the government and the Election Commission? Because of course there's an issue of tenure as far as the Election Commission is concerned. It certainly has its 5 years. It has its time period. It's a 5-year. They have their own ambit within which they act. They have consistently their own powers. So all of those things are right there.
Thank you. I think the couple of points here to answer your question. One is that if the idea was that the government thinks that EVM are going to solve the problems of elections, and government is very right that there have been apprehensions and doubts about the election every time whenever the election is held. So yes, something needs to be done. But what needed to be done was, I think the sequence was not right. I think to begin with, what government could do was to bring that report, which is lying with them for the last, I think, 3 years now. This was submitted by the Election Commission. As you know, the Elections Act 2017 was passed. And according to that act, Election Commission was asked to conduct some pilot project on electronic voting machines, see and learn the lessons, and compile those lessons in the form of a report, present it to the government, and government should lay it before the parliament, and then it should be debated to make the final decision whether we want to employ electronic voting machines or not. Unfortunately, that Election Commission procured those electronic voting machines, about 100 of them, in 2017. they conducted some pilot projects. They compiled a report. They submitted that report to government. I think it was submitted on 31st December 2017, and it is lying before the government. Government laid it before the parliament. Now parliament was supposed to debate that. I think what the majority party should have done is to start the debate on that report, and that is how Parliament, both opposition and the government, would have been able to debate the issue, and their point of view would have come to the knowledge of everyone. But that did not happen. That report still remains undebated. And
Right.
secondly, I think what
Fair
went
enough.
wrong, and secondly, I think what they did was they, as I think Mr. Ibrahim very rightly made that point, that one entity or the other crosses their demarcated limits, and they do try to do things which are not their domain. So I think what has government done, they, instead of legislating, instead of debating in the parliament, they went ahead and they created a EVM prototype. Now you see there is no legislation, there is no legal basis of creating an EVM, and if an EVM has to be made, it has to be made by the Election Commission of Pakistan. It has to float a tender, it has to order the machines, and then it has to choose one, it has to decide about the specification. But what government did, instead of first legislating or developing consensus, they made a machine, and then they made a second machine. Then they invited everybody to come and look at it. We are thankful to Ministry of Science and Technology. They invited us too. Machine works fine, but the point is, machine works fine in a room. How it is going to work in a field, whether it will be manipulated, it is possible. So I think the sequence was wrong. Government's intention might be right. So I think
You're
first
saying
of all
that
they
they
should
needed to
create
take the election commission on board before they took all these steps. The way that they took these steps was wrong. I mean, the order in which that they went about it.
exactly.
Right. Let me
And I
come back to you.
last
Fair
point
enough. I think that Ahmed Bilal Sab, he raises a very fair point. Ibrahim Sab, why it's kind of been done, sort of stepping on the toes of the election commission. Don't you think that's true? I mean, it could have been done in a better manner instead of the kind of criticism that we've seen leveled against the election commission. It could have been, election commission could have been taken on board, which it wasn't, in the order that the government went about it.
I think conclusively all parties concerned, whether it's election commission or the governing party or the opposition parties, all need to sit together and find a way out that in order to ensure free and fair elections, how to go about this and make up a set of rules and regulations. And this EVM, I mean, to me it sounds really good and very, I mean, sounds much better.
No, but some of the concerns that it may sound better, but some of the concerns that the election commission has raised are time issues of time as far as till the next elections are concerned. They're saying they have
Well,
about 2 years.
those issues can be discussed, and that's why
But they
I'm
should have
saying
been
all-
discussed
all-
before it was.
but
It was
they can, still, I mean, we haven't lost time. I mean, there are 2
but you
years
agree
left
that
in the
perhaps it was
elections
done in a
and,
hasty manner.
Right, and now it can again,
It
I
can
mean,
be
it can
remedied.
be,
Ji.
gone, I mean,
Ji,
with the
Kundi Sahab,
confrontation
you-
part can, be, left.
Kundi Sahab, don't you
aside
think
a
as
little.
far as, let me come back to you, as far as the government is concerned, invariably the relationship between the government and the opposition remains fraught with tension. There is, not only the election commission, but other, as far as the opposition is concerned also. Now we are talking about even, Dr. Afnan is saying, and there is talk about the fact that the government should take the opposition on board, the government should take the election commission on board, but it doesn't happen like that. We've always seen, there is this to and fro exchange, and then things, sort of somersault, and they get hyper and they get, tense.
No, it's a practice of the parliament when you are in government and you are in opposition. You have these type of debates going on, but when it comes to the thing when there is a bills come and which is very serious and it's good for democratic process or for the country, then the opposition and government sits together. They form a committee or commission. Then they sit together, they discuss it, Might be there is some points from opposition party which might be good, which might not be good, but they discuss it. Like previously when we were in the government, we had 18th Amendment. We have got the committee of 18th Amendment, then we had 200 plus meeting, official and unofficial also. And I'm not saying that 18th Amendment was like 100% good. You might have something which you can, in later on the government can do it, like you can bring better, but in that thing also. But in this thing, on the EVM issue, it was not being discussed in the parliament. It was not being discussed in the National Assembly. That what is it? So the Science and Technology Ministry, they came up with the machine. They said, this is the machine, come visit this machine, and we are going to have it in the next election. But the thing is, we have to take on board like Election Commission, Parliament. Now when it comes to the Senate Committee has rejected that EVM thing. So now thing is that if we want, every political party will want free and fair election, because whenever there is election, opposition always blame that these elections being rigged. So we should come to the conclusion we should have free and fair election.
But primarily, what is your stance as far as this the EVMs are concerned? What is your stance in moving towards this technology?
Election Commission, we have reservation on this EVM machine. Today I've seen in the media that Election Commission has written a letter to NADR also. NADR has reservation also in previously when it was being launched on pilot project was being launched, and they've got reservation on that also. They have written the letter also to the NADR also. So let's see what happens. But now the EVM machine has been made so much controversial without any reason. Now, like
you think it might be? It's not something that your party would necessarily agree with.
I think all opposition will not be agreeing with it, and then whoever will be conducting the election, like Election Commission. Now, whatever we ask Election Commission, why was RTS being switched off, or there was error on it, or whatever you name it?
So
why did it happen? We spent a lot of money on that, and when it was supposed to be used, it was not working. So what's the point of like EVM? It will be like run by batteries or whatever thing is. When
you're saying the technology itself, it's not something that it can backfire, which it did in the last elections. So therefore, you wouldn't want to go for it.
EVM machine was being used by other countries also, and then they came back to the manual system again. They had that system, but they came back again to this system also.
So you don't think that there is need for reform as far as elections?
We think that there is need for reforms also, but
not
in the shape of EVM. You have other things to be discussed. Government, if government is serious, they should form a committee. They should sit together. We have given our suggestion.
But the Election Commission is already saying it might have less. 2 years is not enough time for them to be able to bring EVMs in the field.
There's a big process, because we have to bring machine, then you have to put it in the warehouses. We have to give specific temperature for that and whatever things. But from our side, Farooq Ashnaik has given his own, like our party point of view on this election reforms, which is already in the committee. So the political parties should sit together in the committees. Committees are there to discuss these things. The Senate Committee, the National Assembly Committee, they should discuss things. They should come with some proposals and then send it to the National Assembly and Senate, and then they should discuss it and pass it. I am not saying that if we have given all the proposals, 100% will be fine. Might be there are 10 proposals, and government will be saying that okay, we will go for 6 one. They will have 10 proposals. Will say okay, we will adopt your 7
You're open to sitting together on this issue. You're open to discussing it. You're open to coming to some sort of agreement on the electoral reform issue, minus or plus the EVMs. But you do have reservations as far as the EVMs.
Yes, we have reservations on it, but we are not saying that we will not sit on the electoral reforms.
Dr. Afnan, what about you? As far as Kundi Saab is concerned, he's saying that his party is open to sitting on the issue, working on the electoral reform as a whole. EVMs may or may not be okay with them, but primarily, they would like to be taken on board as far as the issue of electoral reform is concerned. What about the PMLN?
We are also open to the idea of reforms in the electoral process, and we have actually contributed in many of the meetings of the standing committees as well. I mean, we have proposed some amendments as well. So we have also accepted some of the amendments made by the government.
But on the issue of EVMs, where do you stand?
Look, I believe that the problem, this is the problem that we are trying to solve is not a technological problem. It is a social and political problem. You cannot solve. Technology can facilitate, as you know, as my friend was saying, that we were unable to run RTS. if you are, it was not the technology that failed. It was, I believe, that it was a social political issue that basically made the technology fail. So I think what we need to understand is that there are a lot of factors that come into play in the general elections, and we have to be very, very careful in whatever reforms that we are coming up with. We don't want to basically, facilitate someone to rig the elections as well. We have to be very, very careful in that way as also. So I believe that we can have a gradual implementation of EVM spread over many general elections, and we can see how it goes. I mean, hopefully we can make RTS work, and hopefully we can make a few machines work first, and then moving on to having a more larger implementation of EVM all across Pakistan. I mean, this is
Fair
what
enough.
my take on this is.
Right, okay. G, Ahmed Bilal Saab, you think that there can be agreement on the EVMs?
Certainly, I think there can be an agreement and should be open to the fact that there can be disagreement. They can agree on this to disagree. And I think there's a lot of talk going on that the opposition doesn't sit with government to discuss the issue. I was invited to come and attend the meeting of Senate Standing Committee on Parliamentary Affairs, where electoral reforms were being discussed. And they were discussed, I think, in detail. And Mr. Afnanullah, I saw him there. The people from Pakistan People's Party, friends from PMLN, friends from PTI, and from later on from Balochistan Awami Party, they were all sitting together and discussing. And as Senator Afnanullah has said, I think out of the 49 or 50 proposals, there was a complete agreement about 23 of them, and they passed them with complete consensus. But on some of them, there was disagreement. So it is not that the opposition and government are not sitting together. I think they are sitting together, and they wanted to discuss it a little more, but then they were not allowed an extra time to discuss that. They wanted the committee to submit the report within the due 2 months' time. In the past, they used to give extension. So I think now there is still a chance to discuss this whole thing in the Senate. And Senate is going to, I think this report which the Standing Committee has submitted is going to be debated in the Senate. If they allow ample time there and they're ready to discuss it in an analytical manner instead of blaming each other, I think still there is possible that there is some agreement. And on EVM, I would like to say that the most possible agreement and most, I think, logical agreement is that it should not be insisted that the entire 900,000, I think about 400,000 to 900,000 EVMs will need to be procured. And one should not insist that all these should be deployed before the 2023 election. Nowhere in the
You're
world
saying
has such.
some of them can be used and, some, but
They should-
won't that make it more complex?
No, it will not make complex. This is how the whole world has done. In India, it took 22 years to gradually implement the EVMs in the entire Lok Sabha elections. 22 years. We can at least give 5 or 6 years before the next election. I think 2028 elections should be the target, and before that it should be used in various by-elections, in local government elections, in bar council elections and engineers elections, and learn the lessons. And as we go on, I think we will gain confidence, and then it will be possible. But if while doing so, we come to realize that this is not something practical for us, we should be equally open to the idea of not adopting it. After all, you see, out of 167 countries which call themselves democracy, only 8 countries employ electronic voting machine. Only 8 out of 167 countries. So we are
You're
not
saying it's
missing
not okay.
out
Right.
on
I
anything.
want to move on. I want to move on to the cantonment board elections. Ibrahim Saab, the way that the results have come out, the way that the situation now seems, it's not only the PPP, PMLN, or now your party also. There seems to be across the board cause for concern for all political parties. Am I right in saying that, as far as your party is concerned? you've
Definitely,
seen-
because there is always, to be on the winning side, I can always say, yes, we have gained the most, we have scored the most seats, but that's not the answer. as you pointed out very rightly, I mean, yes, there are certain deficiencies, and there were some certain, I mean, weaknesses or weak points of with every party, and everybody needs to concentrate more on that and make some improvements. And I think.
But what about the
but
PTI?
what I have been watching on TV, different news channels, that they're trying to compare these elections with the general elections. That is completely, not related, because the dynamics of general election is entirely different than the local government elections or the cantonment board elections. And because I have personally, in 2008, I was contesting elections for NA from Shujabad, and the city was totally, I mean, was held by the, I mean, with their local government representatives, was represented by PMLN. But out of 26 polling stations, I mean, I scored 25 out of that. I won on 25, while they had all their, representatives, like local government representatives or chairmen or the Nazims. So, but it's definitely a point to ponder on and ponder upon, and always room for
But 2
making
years
improvements.
from now, there's going to be general election. As far as
Sure.
your own popularity is concerned, do you think, I mean, is it about the fact that there is perhaps need in Punjab for you to rethink, rehash your leadership? Do you think it's about economic policies, bad decisions there? Do you think it's about, overall, we've seen price hike, inflation. Those are causes for concern. Do you think those are behind the
You see, it'll
popularity
be
or lack thereof?
unjust if I say no, it's not. But I mean, definitely it could have contributed it to certain
Even
extent.
today, we're talking about, an increase in petrol by 5
I know,
rupees. So
I know. This is, I mean, it happens in every government, and in every government you see, I mean, but I think the main concern is that the independents have won. You see that it's, I mean, they're like the third party, I mean, third in a row, like who have scored the most seats, and those were all independents. So I think there is something wrong with the handling of the, not with the elections, but the handling of the political parties, or the way they have handled things. So I mean, all of us, all the major three parties have to, I mean, look at it from a different angle, like how to make improvements and how to make score maximum seats. So it's a matter of concern for all parties, basically.
Right. Ji, Kundi Sahab, as far as the PPP is concerned, of course, you have now, I wouldn't say been relegated to Sindh, but I don't know what other way one can talk about the situation as far as even these elections, cantonment board elections are concerned. The overall popularity in terms of a national party for the PPP, are you rehashing, are you rethinking perhaps your strategy now?
We have already thought about our strategy, and we are on the chairman PPP, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, is already mobilizing our party leadership and workers. He has visited a couple of areas in Sindh and in South Punjab also. Now he's going back again to Sindh, and KP and Central Punjab and Balochistan is going to go and mobilize his party. Whatever you are talking about, the cantonment board election, for the first time is being very much politicized and discussed in the media. Otherwise, cantonment board elections are not that much politicized. If we see in a PVP perspective, we have won more than previous year, like previous elections. So lot of candidates, which my friend has said that they came as an independent. There are people from the political parties who says that, like from my party, if in one constituency there are 3-4 people contesting, and they ask us that not to give ticket, but let us be independent, let us fight on by our own. Main thing is that government should go for the local government election. When the local government election will
What
be
do you
held,
think will happen as far as your position, your party position as the PPP is concerned, if the government goes for local bodies election tomorrow?
this is the test case for all political parties. I think the government should go for the local bodies election,
But Kundi
and
Sahab,
they have.
in terms of your performance, if you 1, 2, 3, you will have to agree that PPP hasn't done that greatly.
you can't predict political parties. If you talk about PTI, in 2002 they have got 1 seat. Then you
Okay.
come to 2008 and then come to elections. So there is up and downs in the political parties. You can't, in previous government when PMLN was there, they were with 14 or 17 seats.
Okay.
And then they came with the 2/3 majority. So you can't predict political party. So this is the test case for the political. Let the government, because always PTI has said that we will go for the local government election, and they said that they believed in the powers on the very grassroots level. So we think that the local government election should be on party basis, and they should go for the local government election, and that will be the test case for all political parties, how much seats they win, how much they lose, and then you can rate the political parties 1, 2, 3, 4, what are their position is.
Gee, Afnan Saab, what about the PMLN? There has been, as far as Punjab is concerned, okay, but what about the other provinces? You're a national party. Are you going to be relegated to Punjab? Why hasn't the PMLN been able to spread its wings? Why haven't you been able to do better across the board?
We are second largest. I believe we are second largest party in KPK, and we have got about like 4. We won about 4 out of 42 wards in Sindh as well. So I mean, in 3 provinces we have our foothold. We have made gains in KPK. There is a lot of room for improvement in Sindh, and there is significantly a lot of room for improvement in Balochistan as well. And I believe that we are working on those areas.
Why do you think that there is that kind of, the other provinces, you haven't been able to do that well, apart from Punjab? Why? What's the reason in your opinion?
I think a lot has to do with our local leadership over there as well, and of course, and I mean, we have done a lot of work in Karachi, for instance, and there are a lot of people who wants to come into MLN Sindh, but there are hurdles in their way. So that, I mean, and that is primarily because of our own issues within the party that is not basically letting the party grow in that part of the country. But I mean, there are also areas like, I mean, you have to understand that we are fundamentally based around Lahore and Central Punjab, and that is our main support base. But we have made governments in KPK, in Sindh, in Balochistan in the past as well, and we are working on those weaknesses. I mean, in terms of the local leadership, and you will see changes, and that will eventually, hopefully, give us a better result in the coming local bodies.
Do you think it's because there has been confusion as far as your leadership is concerned? The roles that Shehbaz Sharif Saab, Maryam Nawaz. Do you think part of that, the reason for this kind of performance in other provinces?
I think that this cannot be the reason. First of all, there is no confusion as far as we are concerned. There is a lot of hype that is built around it. There are, we are a very big political party. There are many people with different mindsets, and they all come together. So to say that, I mean, we don't have a uniformity of thought, but we think differently, all of us. But our leader is Mia Mohammad Nawaz Sharif. So if when it comes to the final say or the final decision making, that he makes the final decision, and that's how the whole thing works. So this whole hype built around the confusion and is not actually really correct, to be honest. We have, for instance, many groups within the party, but this is how it is. I mean, in PTI as well. I mean, and in other political parties as well.
Right. Okay. Gee, Ahmed Bilal Saab, as far as the overall situation across the board of all political parties are concerned, do you think that this is in any way indicative of the overall situation as far as political parties are concerned? Or do you think it's too soon? Or do you think that, these elections don't really have that kind of clout, so to speak?
I think there are a few encouraging aspects of these elections. We should be really celebrating them. First of all, there was a lot of apprehension that there may not be so much peaceful election, and some of the parties even had demanded that military should be called to guard the polling stations and to maintain the order. But in the end, we have seen that the elections have been largely peaceful. And secondly, I think there has been not much complaints about the fairness of the election. I think elections have been largely free and fair. And third, I think encouraging thing is that the political parties, instead of blaming the external factors, at least PMLN and the PTI, both of them are looking inward, and they're trying to do the soul searching and trying to find reasons within them that why they have got this kind of election results, which at least PTI chairman and prime minister was bold enough to express his displeasure about the result. So I think these are very encouraging signs. And what we should do is we should try to build upon that. It is true that they are not comparable to general elections. They are very small, very limited franchise. But I think we should try to build on them and try to make sure that the general election are also on the same pattern, peaceful, without any interference, and parties should be accepting the results.
Do you think overall all political parties, their popularity it seems diminished as a whole, for whatever reasons? I mean, if it's the government, we can perhaps talk about their policies. If it's the PMLN, we can talk about their leadership issues, which they, of course, Afnan Saab denies. But, as far as the PPP is concerned, perhaps it has to do with the fact that, of course, it seems to be largely a party in Sindh at this time. All of those issues, the popularity, nevertheless, the graph seems to have gone down.
I think a very good point again was made by Ibrahim Saab. Such a large number of around more than 25% of the total returned members of the cantonment boards are independents. That's a very large number, and that is the kind of vote of no confidence on affiliation with political parties. So you are right. There's a lot of I think reasons for political parties to think about it, that why such a large number of people, electables, strong candidates, they chose to test as independent candidates rather than affiliating themselves with political parties. Yes, some political parties have increased their showing in terms of number of seats. People's Party has secured more seats. Even PTI has secured more seats than before. But overall, I agree with you that a large number of people preferred not to affiliate with political parties, and that is something which political parties should be really worried about.
Right. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. Thank you so much for being with us, Mohammad Ibrahim Khan Sahab. Thank you for joining us. Faisal Kareem Kundi Sahab, thank you for being with us. Dr. Afnanullah Khan, thank you for joining us. Ahmed Bilal Mehboob, thank you for being with us. As far as, of course, the issue of EVMs are concerned, we've seen that there seems to be across-the-board agreement that all political parties want to sit together. They want to rehash the issue of electoral reform, whether primarily EVMs will be used in the next election or not, whether the legislation, the government will choose to field the legislation, further it remains to be seen. But there is agreement primarily on electoral reform and the fact that government, opposition, across the board political parties want to sit on it, which is of course a good sign. As far as the cantonment board elections are concerned, I think all political parties do feel, I think it would be wrong to say that there hasn't been a decline in graph as far as their popularity is concerned, whether we talk about the PPP, the PMLN, the PTI. Across the board, voter confidence seems to have gone down. Whether it's indicative of the general elections in another 2 years or not still remains to be seen, but perhaps a rehashing of policy is required as far as all political parties are concerned. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.